Welcome to a special Integrated Marketing Week edition of Social Bell. I'm Josh.
And I'm Brad, and today we have a very special guest with us. We've got Bill Macaitis. Welcome, Bill. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So just to jump right in, what does Integrated Marketing Week mean to you? How does Slack play a role in that? We'd love to hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think integrated marketing is having kind of a revolution on what that means. For us at Slack, we think it's all about that customer experience. We really like to think about marketing doesn't just begin at prospect to lead, but accompanies that person through their entire life cycle. And so for us, it's all the different channels that allow us to message those users, whether it's in the product, outside the product, but ultimately give them a great experience.
Awesome. That's perfect. Yeah, and I remember watching, the first time I saw how Slack actually operates via a video, that was through social.
Yeah.
I was blown away, particularly because, and I think Josh and I looked at it and we said, this is something that's going to revolutionize, how people operate within an organization. It's not going to be just plain black and white email anymore.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. I think actually social or word of mouth is our #1 source of leads.
Wow.
And it really just follows the Slack model. I mean, give them a great experience and people are going to tell other people. If you go to our homepage, you can kind of see our wall of love, and there we highlight just every single customer tweet we've gotten. And we're at the point we're getting about 50 a day now. People have proposed to us on the channel. But it really is just all about that customer-centric focus.
Cool.
Awesome. Yeah.
So how is Slack going to change the corporate environment? I feel like it is already, making a big impact.
Yeah.
But what's next? What's the next piece of Slack that's going to kind of change the game?
I think we can all agree the workplace has a lot of pain in it.
Yeah, it does.
For anyone that has spent half their day doing emails and the other half in meetings, I don't know how really anyone gets anything done. And I think Slack's gained a lot of traction because it alleviates a lot of those pain points. It brings together all your communications into one place. That's our most common scenario where we talk to customers and say, what did you use before Slack? And they're like, well, we're using Gmail and Outlook and Skype chats and G-chats and AIM and text messages, and the communications are just fractured, and Slack brings them all into one place. And what that means is you have so much more time throughout the day, you're so much more efficient, and the throughput of your teams dramatically increases.
Now, it's interesting you bring that up. There's a lot of customers and attention that you've attracted, but of course you've still got the traditional folks who are out there and say, I want to use Outlook, like that's all I want to do. How do you kind of break away, and what's the biggest challenge in marketing Slack to, I guess, those types of individuals and just, broader community as a whole?
Yeah, definitely. So I think it's a really high bar anytime you're in the team communication space, because you don't have to get 1 or 2 people, you have to get the entire team. If there's 20 people in that team, that means you have to deliver such an incredible experience to every one of those 20 people. They're like, it's worth giving up my old work habits, my old workflows, right? And people have been using email, these other forms for 20 years now. Email was invented 40 years ago. It was never invented for team communications. But like I said, there's so much pain associated with it, and really all the existing tools there. Collaboration space has really been oversold, it's been underdelivered. And our tool really brings all those communications in one place. And that just allows you to have so much more time. It allows you to be more productive, and a lot of people have really adopted it.
Yeah, and I think recently we started Slack.
All right.
So now that Nasdaq's on Slack, I mean, you can already see that like the collaboration piece is just so powerful. And I think for most people who are frustrated with Outlook or any other type of email system, the searchability of files is really like an incredible thing, and of your messaging history to kind of like figure out where in a conversation something was said. So with that being said, Apple Watch. I have your app.
Yes.
What went into the development of that app? What's next in the next version of the Apple Watch app?
Yeah, we're incredibly excited to partner with Apple and to have our app on the Apple Watch. We have many people at the Slack office wearing their Apple Watches right now. And I think one of the most common themes, and I think we've seen this through other applications as well, the notifications. Yeah. Those are just huge. And it's not like we have people in there that are typing out really long messages, but just to be able to understand when you've got a key message that comes in from your boss, from a key person on your team, and just being able to understand that's been a great part of it. And so obviously as time goes on, we're going to build in more functionality of it, but we're really excited to partner with Apple on it.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's basically like you guys took the theme of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and put it on a watch and really just empowered a lot of business morphing Power Rangers. That's all it is. right? But it's great. It's really cool.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So why do businesses need to pay attention to companies like Slack and really give them, the time of mind to see the disruption that's going on and taking place?
I think all the business applications are having a tremendous revolution. You see so many of these native cloud players coming out and just completely disrupting existing industries. Kind of mainframe going to client server. There weren't a lot of mainframe. I don't think there were any mainframe companies that existed. Cloud is the new generation that's happening. And tools like Slack, you think about it, your team communications, that's what everyone in your company is spending the majority of their time on. McKinsey has a great stat, 47% of your time is spent on email, searching for information, trying to communicate with your existing teammates, and that's time lost. And a tool comes around like Slack where it can really revolutionize your team communications. You get more stuff done, you're more productive, the team comes closer together. It's just one of those game-changing tools. And the companies that ignore it, you do it at your own risk, because I think that your competitors that embrace it, they're going to see the faster iterations, they're going to see the faster throughput, they're just going to be more dynamic in the marketplace.
Certainly.
Well, companies are getting rid of corporate voicemail. Hopefully they'll get rid of corporate email and it'll just be all Slack.
We've seen many of our customers have an 80 to 100% reduction in internal email. And just, for a lot of people, you think about how much time and energy that you waste in internal email, it's a great area.
Awesome. So, because we're all about social here at Social Bell, tell us a little bit about your social media strategy. I think you guys do an awesome job on social, engaging with customers. What kind of drives your content strategy and how you interact with customers?
Yeah, Twitter's been huge for us.
Yeah.
It's been one of the really growth drivers for Slack. And really what it comes down to is, to me, I think it counts in a lot of different layers, but ultimately your customer content, what they say, is such a powerful form of validation. And Twitter just gives that user voice so much more power, so much more magnification. And so what we do is we follow anyone that interacts with us on Twitter, we follow. We have on our homepage, we call it a wall of love, and it's basically every single person that said something positive about Slack. And it's pretty amazing because we're not telling that story, we're letting our customers tell that story. And they talk about how it's changed their workplace, how it's changed their culture, how it's improved their productivity. And all those great stories they do the talking for us. And so I think social is such a key tool as part of that strategy.
Wow. Yeah. So what's next for Slack? That's what we want to know. What's next? Broad horizon, companies like yourselves always innovating, right? And it's clear through your product offering. What's the next big move or play that you can share with us and give us a little give us a little insight there?
Yeah, we want to focus on team communications. Lord knows there's been enough pain and over-promises delivered in the collaboration space, and we feel we have a chance to really disrupt this, to really revolutionize it. And as great as Slack is, only 1.5% of Americans know about it. We did our first kind of aided and unaided recall studies, and we think there's a tremendous amount of opportunity to kind of get that word out. But ultimately, we want to be that core bottom layer of technology stack that's going to power all the teams. It's going to bring all your messages together. It's going to bring all your files together in one place and solve a lot of those traditional pain points.
So with many tools, pricing is always an issue. I think, whether it's social media tools, whether it's communication tools, all of them have that kind of cost per seat model. How does Slack work? How does that model work, and what's changing in your pricing model?
Yeah, I think what's interesting is that if you look at cloud-based companies, a lot of them will iterate on the product side, but they won't really disrupt on the go-to-market side. And so we really took a different look at that. Again, we always think about the customer experience, and when you're doing enterprise buying, there's a lot of bad experiences, right? Sure. You get sent to prison landing pages where you can't get out. You have to fill out 17 fields and give your cell phone number. You're going to get attacked by sales right off the bat. And we really want to think holistically about that. And so a couple things we do differently is our salespeople aren't commissioned. They're actually measured on things like Net Promoter Score. When we charge people, we only pay if someone actually uses it. That's different for a lot of SaaS companies. If you buy 1,000 seats and no one uses it, you're on the hook for those 1,000 seats. We actually give credits or refunds if people don't use it. In fact, when people go on vacations, that's usually one of the nice little emails that the admin will get. It's like, hey, you've got a refund for X amount because Joe, had stopped using the product for more than 10 days. And so we think it's a great way to surprise and delight users and really just focus on that core experience.
That's an amazing model. I'm sure you get a lot of social media love out of that.
It helps, yeah.
And that's it. Not to mention eliminating the prison form pages.
Nobody likes those prison landing pages.
I mean, when they ask you for like your auntie's maiden name or something like that, you're like, what? I don't know if you guys need that.
Yeah, and usually very early in that life cycle as well. So we think it's a better way to do it.
Awesome, awesome. So the theme of Integrated Marketing Week 2015 is the era of trust. What does this mean to you at Slack? How does this play into your day-to-day operations in making sure that there's trust amongst your application, your business, the model, and really the customer, the end consumer?
Yeah, to me, trust is one of the most core elements of any brand. And if you think about it, a brand is just the sum of every single experience someone's had with your company. And so the way we look at it at Slack is every single team, we outline what are those interactions that they have with the customer and how can we make sure that we just delight them, surprise and delight them, give them the best possible experience. Because ultimately, if they're having great experiences, they're gonna trust your brand, they're gonna recommend you, and you're gonna grow.
Wow.
From all of us at Social Bell, thank you, Bill, for joining us, and have a great integrated marketing week.
Thanks.
Thank you for having me.